So, what's the plan? Alright, so I went to the store and I got myself some of these space saver bags. And this type of bag is very large, larger than I thought it was going to be. But they advertised it as being a cube size. So it has a square, well, rectangular bottom, as opposed to most of the space saver bags I've seen where they're really quite flat. You fill them up, it becomes like a pillow. But today, I'm taking this basket from like the first day that I started sorting this stuff, and I'm going to redo this. So originally I was sorting on kind of like size, like what was scrappy, what was a panel, what was in between there, what was a bolt. And now, as I have gone and touched some of the fabric and sorted a little bit of it, you know, if you've seen my previous videos, that I'm sorting by type of material. I have two goals, and one is to get all the synthetics out, so I want to leave all the cottons so I can, start working on making quilts out of the cotton material. And two, someone has asked if I had any scrappy fabric that I could give to some elementary school children. And I was like, oh man, do I have some scrap. But, I'm kind of in the process of sorting this, but I have already found a lot of fabric that I know I do not want to use later on. I'm going to have trouble. It's going to be kind of a tricky. So I said, don't you worry. I have, let me see what I could do. Well, as I was opening up some of this fabric and getting through some bags, I was running into a lot of synthetic as opposed to some cotton things. And I'm not even sure what I'm wanting to do with all the cotton, but anything that was a definite, oh no, I can't do anything with this, or if there was a nice large piece of fabric but it had like a long leg of something scrappy that I would have trouble cutting, I went ahead and just trimmed that off the larger section for the donation to the elementary school. And I'm hoping they do this need for scrap request next November, because surely by then I will have a whole basket full of scraps that I don't feel that I will be inspired to do anything with. But it was nice to get to revisit some of the fabric, and as I'm going through it, I found some that matched a prior sorting exercise, like these cows. So there were some farm prints, so I put all the farm prints together, and I have been noticing that I'm getting to know this hippo stash so well that I can remember what I've done with certain pattern panels or large pieces of fabric that have a pattern on them. Now you'll see that there are there are four piles, and the one to your left, the farthest left, those are all solid colors. They don't have a print on them, they don't have a pattern. And then I've got two stacks of material that has patterns or print images on it. Then over to the right, back in the background closest to the basket, those are synthetics that I'm finding. And this is everything that was in that basket. Now I didn't think I had a big enough scrap pile to donate, so I decided that I was going to start busting open some of the kitchen trash bags that are right there beside the bed, and I was going to start stacking that. But first I'm going to have to move some of this stuff over to the side. So here I've adjusted everything, and I'm going to straighten out my sheet, and right over here to the right you can see where I've got this bag. This is going to be the first bag that I'm going to stuff with the synthetic material. I've got this out of the top of one of those kitchen bags, and now that I've got it lightened up, I'm going to bring it up here to the bed. I have a lot of material here that's like a heavyweight cotton, like something you can make work pants out of, which I thought was interesting. I've got 3 colors that are very closely related. Here we go. I'm going to start stuffing the bag. And it got so heavy I put it over to the side to start stacking it from the floor up. But I also took the moment to readjust my camera angle. I'm still learning some of this, how to make film skill level. But there were some beautiful fabrics that I was finding, and I was folding. And as I'm going through this, I'm glad that I was going through it very carefully, because if you notice, there's this one piece of fabric that someone had stapled a label to it, and the staples were so old or or cheap metal, and they encountered some moisture, they actually started to rust. So I was thankful that I was taking my time with this. I'm unloading another bag, and as I'm doing this, I'm finding some of those pieces where someone had taken some clothing and they were going to cut that up. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what I have been planning to do. I've got some shirts and some pieces of fabric that I've gathered over the years, and I would love to get that incorporated. And it does my heart good to see that there was some like-minded going on. Like that piece over to the right, that's actually a skirt. I'm getting a lot more solids off of this gathering. Some prints. Oh, look how pretty this is right here. Wouldn't some kid love some teddy bears? And it's a really soft corduroy. Really interesting. I'll put that over with my specialty fabrics. I'm finding some good things to donate to the school. Here's another skirt, and that's made out of corduroy, so I'm going to keep that along with them teddy bears. This material was a heavy canvas type material, or very heavy cotton. It's got an interesting color scheme going on with it. I'm going to keep that all together. And then I got this idea. Hey, I'm going to reach up here and get my piece of red fabric from my old stash. The Valentine's Day section. So here you see the basket to the right, and I've got my little project bag there. Put those Valentine themed fabrics all together. Likes with likes. It has been a journey going through all this. Here you see me getting rid of those staples that I'd found. Just a warning to everybody, be careful going through fabric. You never know what's going to poke you, scratch you, damage something. Like if I had pulled that fabric and it had snared on that polyester, whew. But don't have to worry about staples now. Here's a big piece of polyester to go in my storage. Some interesting colors. Now here's a large panel. That would be a very precise project. I'm not sure that I like that style. Maybe I would be able to sell something like that. So far I've found about 4 panels of themed material, and I'm going to be looking to probably just be shed of that. I don't think I'm very inspired, but hopefully someone else will be. Now, this bag is something that has material that I've been holding on to for at least 14 years. You know, after sleeping on it, I've been thinking, if I want to call my new acquisition the hippo stash, I think I'm going to call my original stash my antelope. Like, if I was going to compare an antelope and a hippo, that's about the same ratio I've got on this stash and the new stash. But here we have a scrap from a dress and some chaps that I cut out of leather. This was little this was like my son's first Halloween costume. Now it was the second Halloween costume. So he was a little cowboy. I have a very large, two large sections of felt. Now I decided I was just going to combine that, put that with my synthetic material. It's not cotton. It's not something I can use for quilting. And so I went ahead and put that up. Now this was a little dress I got at a yard sale. They gave it to me for free because it's got a large stain at the top. But the butterflies were so sweet, and that velvet, so nice. I got to make something out of that. Probably not a quilt, but I've been holding on to it, looking for inspiration. I have a silk shirt, and I have an older shirt that I retired. I'm thinking that shirt just might be the right color for my new quilt idea, or my first quilt endeavor. I'm considering. I'm gonna match it. I'm gonna match it up and see what it looks like. Now this, I actually never wore this. Yeah, I don't have that kind of body type and never have. But why I have this, I think it was like on sale for $1, and I love the color and the texture. So it's one of those. I was inspired to hold on to it, hoping to make something of it. And I got an old jacket, and down here towards the bottom just some scrap felt. But this is an old maternity dress that I wore the heck out of, and this was my second maternity dress. There towards my very last couple of weeks of pregnancy, this is all I was able to wear were these two dresses. And I would wear one and wash the other. Now this is a piece of material that I got at Goodwill. It still has the Goodwill tag on it. But I was going to do something with this tropical pattern. It was my 30th birthday, and I had like a themed tropical party, and I probably lost this piece of material. I was going to cut it up and use it for the decorations. Oh, that gives me an idea. Maybe I can have some type of tropical luau themed something. Can I make a quilt out of this? I don't know. And then I got a few more rags. Not sure what I'll do with it. We'll find out. So that is another piece of the antelope. And now I have this beautiful bag that has the zipper lid on it that I love so much. I wish I could just buy a bunch of these bags because they come in so handy, and they're cube shaped. And all the stack straight over to the synthetic bag. Oh man, it feels so good to get this stuff sorted out. But just between you and me, probably means I'm also kind of procrastinating.